already done the distributor curve video, so I'm going to go flying through this. This is for Gilberts Slanted Sled. So right now we got 410 thousandths. The pin right here is 231. We already know that 0.008 kind of comes out with that comes out to about 22 degrees. It's a little much. So I want to have 16 degrees. So this is the formula. The slot is going to equal X. So there's my X. Slot divided by wanted degrees equals 0.008. That's how many thousandths it takes for every degree. In parentheses, PMEDs, remember PMEDs plus pin. So X divided by 16 equals 0.008 plus yada. X and this plus that. X comes down to this. Add that in. That comes to 0.359. We want to check that. So we take that and we put it back in there. So 0.59, remember parentheses, minus 0.231. Do that first. Divide that by 0.008. That gives us exactly 16 degrees. So now I need to weld this up, and I always weld these up on the end here, on these ends, so that way it starts in the same spot and it moves out. And this is going to be a driver, so, you know, I could get one of those little plates for it, but I prefer to do it this way. Now, this thing sucks to weld. The best way to do this is heat it up. Before you weld on it, get this thing hot and have the torch there. And what I do is I'll sweat this thing really, really hot, and then I'll just basically put a weld right across there. Then I put a weld right across there. And then I come in with a rat file, and then I hit this with a rat file and that makes it a nice round pocket to distance. It's a really simple deal. All right, I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. This distributor is slightly different. It's a new unit. It's missing the bushings in here, and it's a different pin diameter, so I can't change the weights on it. I do have springs here, so this is the heavy spring. This spring was pretty sloppy on there, so I'm going to replace it with the 2 silver springs here, and that should give it where it needs to be. I'm going to oil that all up because it was literally dry. But then here you can see on the slot here that I have them welded up, and so right there, it's 359. So we're right at the number. And this is how I do it, is I just put a little weld there. Remember, you got to heat this thing way up because this thing likes to pit. So if you heat it up, it does that. Then you get yourself a rat file and grind it down. Do the same thing on this side. Weld it up. Then put a little rat file in there, so that way it's all nice and smooth, and use the rat file to go in and out. And the rat file just happens to be about the same diameter as this one. Now this is a 231. Normally they're about 239, so this is about 9 thousandths difference. So I'm going to start putting this back together. Also, too, I'm changing it out to a 6.5X, which is about 13 degrees of vacuum. And you can tell, too, this is like the 69 style. You can see that comes out farther out on the plate, where this one comes farther in. And then you can usually see by the stop right in here. See how big that stop is? Where the stop goes to the plate. That's a lot. Plus, it's at a farther point, so it's going to advance a lot more. This one right here is very small. See how small that is? So, and I'm sorry.
I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be.
I messed up. This one comes on the inside, so therefore it goes farther. Plus, it's got more distance. This one's on the outside, plus it's shorter. So this gives you less vacuum advance, but this gives you less pinging and whatnot. And this is the one that I tend to like. So I hope that comes out right. Yeah, I messed up on that one. But anyways, as I was talking, I figured it out. So I'm going to put this thing back together and kind of go from there. It's kind of weird too because it's swedged there. And what's weird too is that the pin here, normally they have like a clip that sits in there that holds the upper part, that holds, that into this. So when this goes into there, there's a clip that holds this in there. What's weird is this one's got a bolt. It's got a screw that goes through there to that right there. One of these here. It's actually that one. So So it's different. So whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to pitch these two in here. This is all my distributor stuff. I got a whole box full of distributor stuff. Yeah. Oh, here. See, if you look at this one too, see how it's got the thing for the clip. So the clip goes in there. Where that one right here has got a screw. So yeah, it's totally different. And you can just see by the pins here, that pin compared to that pin. And right, see right there. And these weights are sloppy on here. So is what it is. So, yep, moving on. Going to put this together. There you have it. I skipped a bunch of steps, but basically you guys get the gist of the idea. Put it back together. Get the distance on there. It's about, I think it's like 16 thousandths or something like that, or maybe 20. I forget. Basically, I just adjust it. I plug it in, and I'll test this on the ignition before I fire up the engine. So I'm going to plug this in, and then you spin this before I stab it. Make sure we got sparky on the coil, and yeah, we're good to go then. And just put this in. This is on the outer pin, so it's on that pin right there instead of the inner pin over there that you can see right underneath there. And then that's going to move it less. Now, yeah, it's going to hurt mileage a little bit, but you're still, this way you don't get like 25 or 30 stupid degrees of vacuum advance and this thing starts detonating all over the place. And this makes it more of a controlled type of setup. So anyways, yep, there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is Gilberts Slanted Sled. I'm going to put this one together and then kind of go from there. I put in all the brass freeze plugs on this side, put in the plugs there and there, and yeah, just waiting for camshaft. I got the valve drop already, so yeah, I might make this into 2 videos. I don't know. Maybe make it into one long one. I don't care. Alrighty, later. The last thing you want to do before you get a camshaft designed is, measure your installed height without any spacers underneath there at all. Typically, you're going to want to use something like this, but Slant 6s just have very little room inside there for them, typically, because the installed height on these is pretty low. Once again, I don't want to do it one-handed bandit, but this is what it is. It's basically 1/705. So you can basically get it in here just like this and hold this thing tight. Obviously, you need 2 hands, but hold this one tight like that while you measure it. Don't go crazy with the height, and then go from there. Really simple and easy deal. Alrighty.